It is a glorious day to just show up. And I'm so glad you did. Hi, everyone. Yvonne Heath here, nurse turned author, speaker, and changemaker, and your host. Welcome to Navigating Grief with Heart and Humor, where we talk about plan and prepare for grief, transitions, end of life, good stuff, and all the messiness in between, long before it arrives, and diffuse the fear so we can live fully now. Much of the time, we are here to talk about, plan, and prepare how we could do it differently, because we realize with whatever we've been through, we were ill prepared. We did not have coping skills, strategies. We did not accept the unpredictability of life, and that change is the only constant. And now we want to do it differently. We want to live life fully, no matter what. And I am here as a teacher, as a student, because we are all learning together. We are learning, unlearning, and evolving. So I always like to share a fun fact because I love humor and I'm really funny. And I'm laughing at myself, actually, which I think is just something that we all need to learn how to do more. So I realized in all of these months and these wonderful episodes I've been sharing, and I say wonderful because I get to share wisdom and knowledge that I have been privileged to learn and to grow from spending time with extraordinary humans from around the planet. And it is absolutely my honor to share this. And I have my little thing is my tambourine at the end of each show, at the end of each keynote or workshop, whatever it may be, as I share with people my calls to action. And I always end with my tambourine. And I hadn't listened to the end of my shows, and I did. And I realized that whenever I shake my tambourine, the sound gets muted. And I just thought, oh my goodness. So people think I'm just like going like this, but there's no sound. Obviously, that's what they would think, which seems a little strange. And so I asked my husband, so Jordy, and he said, well, the microphone is probably thinking, oh, wow, that's a very loud noise. Let's mute that. So yeah, at first I was sort of, oh my goodness, that is so weird and strange. And then I kind of had a laugh about it because there I am shaking my tambourine and there's no noise. So maybe I'll try again and I'll shake it less vigorously and we'll see what happens. Anyways, that's just my silly fun fact for today. And today's actually a day of celebration, and I'm just so honored that you're here with me. But as always, I still want to just sit and ground myself, even when we are, I always say I want to ground and be very present, because many of these conversations are challenging and they bring about a lot of emotion that's sometimes uncomfortable. So I always want to be very present and grounded. And I also want to be very present and grounded in the good times too, right? Because we often are so busy, you know, the whole thing, we're so busy planning the rest of our life where we're not even present for what's happening now. So I want to be fully present with you right here, right now, and just really enjoy the celebration that I want to share with you. So as always, my ritual to be grounded and present is to take 2 slow, deep breaths, to inhaling slowly, exhaling slowly, just forgetting about all the other noise, quieting my brain and grounding myself. So I invite you to join me, or whatever ritual helps you to just land here and be fully present. So I'm just going to close my eyes and take 2 slow, deep breaths, inhaling through my nose, exhaling through my mouth. And one more time. And exhaling. As smiling as I was doing that, because I was thinking of my younger self, how I would have thought, how, oh that's so goofy and spiritual. And my mother was my greatest, and still is my greatest spiritual guide, I would say, and teacher. And I just always used to laugh at her. It's like, okay, Mom, do your little voodoo and let's see what happens. And yet all of these golden nuggets I've learned along the way, suddenly it's like, wow, it really does work to pause and to take a deep breath and to just be fully present. And so I want to start this celebration with you today. And if you're here with me in person, thank you. If you are listening to the show after, once it's posted, thank you for being a part of this. As today, I am celebrating 58 years of being on this planet. Woohoo! Celebration, celebration. You see Jasper the elephant has a balloon and some decorations, and we're celebrating. And today I am celebrating me. And here it is, February 16th, 2023. And I think, wow. I was born in 1965. I was born in the 60s. That I am not a boomer. I missed that by probably, I don't know, 5 weeks. My children love to tease me and say, oh, Mom, you're a boomer. I say, no, I'm not, which would be fine if I was. But they cannot, they're just like, you were born in the 60s. Oh my gosh, you're so old. And I think, yes, I have had the privilege of being born in the 60s and being a part of the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like, how incredible. And what a privilege. And do you know what? It just feels so incredibly phenomenal to be in my fabulous 50s and to perhaps more than ever before embrace aging gracefully, embrace gray hair and wrinkles, and just being so incredibly comfortable in my skin. And when I think back to those decades, all of those decades, as my children love to say, I remember being a child and feeling anxious. I was loved by my family, and as many families, as everyone in this journey we call life, there was grief, there was joy, and we don't know what we don't know, and we don't know how to have those conversations as adults, let alone help children to understand grief and joy, the grief of leaving your comfortable home and going to school, right? That transition that can be terrifying and really, really scary for some kids, and some can't wait to go. And so you're looking around and everyone else seems to be doing okay and you're not. And we didn't know how to accept that ourselves as parents, as whoever is helping these children along the way. How can we explain to them, yes, there's grief and joy, and you're leaving your home, your mom or whoever's at home, and now you're going to school. We don't know how to explain that. We didn't. And so in looking back, I'm like, I'm just so grateful to be able to look back and say, yes, I understand that. And now I can teach by example that, yes, in every transition, there's challenges and there's opportunities and there's happiness and sadness. It's sappy. And so going into the teen years, all of those transitions, and my goodness, all the hormones up and down, and you don't even know why you're feeling this way, and you don't know why not everyone likes you. And again, back to being in my 50s, to be able to say, yes, if somebody feels like they don't like me, that's okay. That's on them. It isn't my job to make everyone like me. You can't make anyone do anything. You can't make them like you. And it is just so rewarding to be in the place where it's like, that's okay. I don't love it. I don't know why they should like me. They should. We still want to say that, right? You should. No, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And truthfully, I know that the very best version of me is my greatest gift to the world. I am flawed. I am imperfect. And wow, thinking back again, how many times I feel like I did something wrong, or I wish I would have done it differently, and how hard I was on myself. Oh, have you ever done that? We humans, it's like it's in our DNA. We can do 100 things right and we do one thing wrong, and oh, that's all we focus on. And now with this wonderful wisdom of the decades, I say, yeah, I wish I had done that differently. I am okay to learn. I am okay to say, oh, yeah, I totally did that in a way that I have shared with other people that no, we don't want to do it this way. What we need to do to acknowledge and allow people's feelings is just show up and be present. And then there's times I've walked away and said, geez, I just gave them a whole bunch of advice. They didn't ask me for advice. They just wanted to be heard. And I am very okay with going back and saying, you know what? I did not practice what I preach, and I was very preachy, and I am so sorry. I really, yeah, I was trying to fix your problem, and can we start over? Wow, to be able to allow for our own imperfection, to be able to allow other people's opinion of me is really not my concern anymore. To be able to sit with that and be okay with it is extraordinary. So these are the places, if we do our own work, if we do our work, our internal work, our just examining what is stopping me from being the very best version of myself. Where am I just criticizing myself no matter how hard I am trying? Because the first thing that I would invite everyone to do is become your own BFF. Become your very best cheerleader. And you know, when you're down, when you've made a mistake, when you wish you would have done something differently, can you please be excessively kind to yourself and considerate, and know that you did the best you could in that moment. Maybe you forgot everything you knew. You will get it wrong, and that's okay. Become your best. That inner critic in our heads is trying to protect us, and I get it. And you know, I still have to say thank you. I don't need to hear from you right now. Thank you. It's not going to go away. If we can focus on being our very best friend, best cheerleader, and surround ourselves with excessive kindness and love, that is what we can radiate to others. And when we are going through the deep trenches of grief, transitions, someone dying that we love, or someone else's, we will be able to just show up with that compassion, right? That empathy, that compassion, and not feel depleted because we are our own best friend and cheerleader, and we're not looking to anyone else for validation or to fill our bucket. We can fill our own bucket with love and happiness. Isn't that a wonderful thing to learn? I'm very glad and joyful that I have learned these things through the decade. It took me, you know, a long time. And if we can imagine, if we could teach our youth, these beautiful skills of being their own BFF and just being the very best version of themselves. And that throughout life we will. Grief is a part of this journey. Sometimes the price of living and loving, but it is worth it. And our hearts will heal if we learn to take care of ourselves and each other. So you see, even as I have this conversation, today is my day. I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate my birth. I I am going to celebrate me, and still I can have these conversations, these meaningful conversations, because this fills my heart and soul. It isn't, we have to be immersed in joy and, okay, we can't let the grief in. We need grief breaks. But, I check in with myself and it's like, you know what? I want to have this conversation today. I just want to have this little chat. And so I can celebrate and also reflect back and just be so joyful that everything that I have learned, everything that I've experienced has brought me to where I am today. And through it all, I was the very best version of myself, because you only know what you know, right? And you can only do what you can do with the information you have. And so I invite you, if in your life right now you're thinking, no, there's something more I need to feel so good about me, then go out and find it. Just find those people, your tribe, your whatever it may be, who will help support you along the way and who will love you through it. And that's another thing that I have been able to do with each decade, is create my village, my tribe of supportive, loving people. And for those who are toxic, I know that hurt people, and I can have compassion and boundaries. We talk a lot about boundaries, don't we? And I love Brene Brown. Who doesn't? If you don't know Brene, please find her online. But she talks about compassion and she talks about boundaries, and your boundaries are just what's okay and what's not okay. And that changes. To me, like, that changes. You have your core values, of course, during the day, during the weeks, during whatever you are going through. There's times that you will be able to just up and think, you know what, I've got it going on. I can do anything and everything today, and I just feel amazing. And then the next day, that may not be the case. And it is up to us, right? And that's another beautiful invitation to you, is to be that person that checks in with you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. How am I doing? What am I able to give today? What would I like to receive? And that is, another big one. Huge. At last, I have become someone who can receive. When we are growing up and whatever it may be, we're always looking for validation and we want to give because it feels good, right? To give, and people are grateful and you feel like you made a difference, and we celebrate the giver, and that's wonderful. And here's the big aha moment for me, is let's also start to celebrate those who receive, right? That give and receive, it's like that energy flow of give and receive. We talk about being depleted. Well, that's because when you give, and you're not able to receive, you don't allow yourself to receive. Oh no, that's okay, I don't need anything. Here's the thing with that. It is not sustainable, and you are not being a great example to others, and you cannot possibly be the very best version of you, because you will be depleted. And so to be able to receive from yourself, from others, very gratefully, and asking for what you need, and checking in with yourself to see what you need. What do I need today? What would I like today? So again, I think about that on my day of celebration. What do I need today? And I know what I need, the receiving. I do not need big gifts. I am not a material. That isn't what I want. I want time. I definitely want someone to make me dinner. I want to hear words. I want to hear how someone feels, or my daughter, actually. my daughter on a scrap piece of paper. This first thing I saw this morning was this note from my daughter, Jaden. And the words that she shared, how much she loves me, how much I mean to her, how she aspires to be like me, all of these parts, she poured her heart out. And I will tell you what, the old version of me would have thought, oh yeah, geez, I'm not that great, or this or that, and criticized or thought of all the things I hadn't done or I wish I'd done differently. And you know what? I read what my daughter wrote and I just took it in. I just received it full on, and it meant the world to me. It meant the world to me. It didn't cost any money. It didn't take a lot of time. It was a gift from her heart, and I just took it in. I'm probably going to laminate it, which, you know, she'll probably think is a little weird, but that's okay. It means so much to me that I mean so much to her. So, you know, as much as I say I want to be my own BFF, my very best cheerleader, and I also am open to receiving. And it just seems so, it was so foreign for so long, right? Women, I'm sorry, a little tough love here. Again, we can be, oh, you know, she gives so much, she puts everyone else last, and she's so amazing. Let's not get our value and our accolades from that. Let's get those accolades from being the very best version of ourselves, from just showing up for ourselves first and being that example. See, that is the example I want to be to my children. The perfectly imperfect, the one who will get it wrong and be okay with getting it wrong, and receiving. Wouldn't that be such an incredible gift as that example? Someone who is willing to receive. So this is my day. This is my day to receive. And, you know, whatever shows up on this day, we always have a choice, right? We always have a choice. We don't always have the choice we wish we had. We have a choice on what we focus on. And in each and every day, there's things I could focus on that are challenging, that are negative, or we can focus on the beauty and the little notes and the fact that we can celebrate our wisdom throughout the decades and the fact that we're still here and our gray hair and wrinkles, because just remember, aging is a privilege that not everybody has. Anyway, I've lived a full life. I continue to live a full life. And however long I'm here, my life is full. I'm here to learn, to unlearn, to evolve, to grow, to love, and then to return home, wherever that may be. And so as we move forward through every decade, I would encourage you and invite you to come along with me and look at your past. Look at the things that presented themselves to you as challenges and obstacles, and what you were able to learn from that. I mean, our challenges teach us a lot if we're open to it. And that everything you've been through, as we can turn our pain into purpose and passion, and know that whatever your journey has been your journey, and that is how it's meant to be. And what you do, these choices you make from your past, from what you are experiencing, what you have experienced, can define a beautiful life if you choose to see it that way. As you continue to learn, unlearn, evolve, become your very best friend and cheerleader, surround yourself with a supportive, wonderful tribe, your compassionate community, your village. Be okay to get it wrong, and just celebrate you and receive. receive love, and receive whatever you need. Because this journey we call life. It's up, it's down, and it will bring about a roller coaster of emotions. And there's so much joy and beauty in it as well. So today I'm going to be very intentional. I'm going to receive. I'm going to be joyful. Is there something I need? I'm going to ask for it. And I am going to celebrate my flawed, imperfect fabulousness. And so when it is your special day, your birthday, think about those beautiful things that could be meaningful. Allow your heart to stay open. Be your very best friend and celebrate you. And of course, I always say my call to action. If you want to love the life that you have had, that you continue to create, because it's all created, right? Let's start with my call to action. Plan your life, plan your death, and then just love your life to death. And always, let's see if this will make noise. Bring your own tambourine to the party and celebrate. Namaste, my beautiful friends. Thank you for being a supportive part of my community. I love you with all my heart. Bye for now. I'm going to have a me day. Take care.